G'day guys, welcome to what is essentially, I guess, part 3 of the water change system. So we should get it, we will get it finished in this video. Part 3 is a bit of a drag on if you ask me. So let's get going. Righto, so step 1 is feeding the hose through this hole. That went easier than expected. That should be enough. I've got about 500 more than what we need there. I don't know if I'll cut it shorter or not. I might just leave it. There's no need to cut it any shorter. I think what I might do, I'll plumb it on, push it through that way, and then like loop it up in the laundry cupboard. Alright, so now the tricky part, guys. We've got to try and feed this 4mm line all the way to the other end of the hose. I don't know if it's going to be tricky or easy, but we're about to find out. I'm pretty excited for this, guys. I've never done a drip system before. So I think that's through. I felt that change then. Alright, we're through, guys. So you guys watch this hose and tell me when I've pulled it through all the way. Oh, we're not there yet, guys. Keep an eye out. For some reason that got really stiff. It's reasonably easy to thread from this direction now. So one of the main reasons I'm excited about vlogging this water change system is it only cost me 200 bucks. So that's achievable by most of you. Rightio guys, sorry I forgot to film again, but Plumber George came around and he's hooked up that line for me. So now the water comes through and drains down there and the feed line is there. So that feed line will hook up to our charcoal filters. So far since getting home I've spent 2 hours on this, I reckon. So I reckon you could build this water change system in under 5 hours, just including drilling the hole, buying the parts and everything. So it's not like it's a huge time thing. So the next thing I need to do, I need to cut 10mm off that PVC pipe there. It's too long at the moment. And I've got this little sponge filter here. So I'm actually going to slip that onto the pipe so that way nothing gets stuck in that hose. Because something we're going to have to be very careful of, if debris gets stuck in this hose, which it would very easily get stuck in it because of the pipe inside the pipe, it'll cause a huge issue, will flood the house. When I say flood, it's not going to flood. So this system, even if it does break and block, it's only going to be dripping like, I think about 50 litres a day. So 50 litres is containable if we got home from work and it was blocked. Obviously, if it was a constant run, I wouldn't have the hose inside the hose. It would be too dangerous. Alright, so I can't remember what was next. I'll get to it and then show you guys. Alright, so now we're going to put this filter in. It says in there, which is completely opposite to what it says in the instructions. But I'm going to follow that. So this hose here, I'm going to cut there. Keep it long enough so I can take this out and then lay it down on its side to change the filters. So then this can go in. Damn it, guys. It's not going to fit in length. That'll be alright. Just have to sit on that angle there. So now I need to figure this other line out. I don't know how I'm going to connect these two yet. I'm going to go get a barb and we'll see if we can make it work. So then I need to cut this line here. This one's real stiff. When in doubt, use your teeth. Alright, so that's in. So this end is finished, guys. The next thing is on the tank. Alright, so I can't help myself. I want to do a test. I also want to fill the bucket up to run 10 litres of water through the filter before we actually put any of the water in the tank. So you guys wait here and tell me if it starts running. Man, it's making a lot of noise, but it was dry. It's all dry. This is why we're running it into a bucket first. I'll get back to you guys. Alright, so bucket number 2 is clear water. And I've cut down the drain pipe and put that sponge filter around it. So that way nothing should fall into it. So I've actually saved one of the best bits for last. I didn't mean to, but it's just how it's worked out. I need to get that 25mm cap off there and then fit this barbed fitting on there. It's gonna be fun. Oh, that's too tight. I don't know how I got it on. Yes I do. I had some PVC melted up as a spanner. I can't really be bothered going and find it. Let's see if I can get an actual spanner on it. Alright, so I didn't really film me getting it because it was just... Oh. Alright. So I actually planned myself well. I got a bucket under there. Oh, that water stinks because it's just stagnant water. Oh, that smells so bad, guys. Just I'll leave it dripping for a minute until it stops, and then I'll get back. Can you see? I've got the fitting on. So whoever built this stand, sometimes I hate them because why the hell does there need to be a brace across there? Like, were they paranoid that drilling all the holes was going to make the bottom crack and it needed that? It's got, so this brace should be like at least a further 100mm back. And then, not to mention that, it's got ply on top of that, which I don't know if you guys know, but I don't run ply on my tanks. I put the styrofoam straight on the frame and then the tank on the styrofoam. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this with one hand. Oh, that's a good start. Alright, it's going to be a two-hand job feeding this hose in, guys. You don't really need to see that, do you? You guys know what's happening. Alright, so that's on. So now we've got the 4mm line in. And we've got a manky bucket of water with a roll of thread tape in it. We've got our 4mm line coming up through here. I'm not sure where I'm going to put this. I want it to be visible. So I'm thinking of having it like come out here somewhere and you can actually see the, or even here, so you can see the drips. Because basically I don't want it to be out of sight, out of mind, is the short answer. So this video is going to take one step backwards. I considered editing some of it out, but I'm going to show you what I've already shown you. And you guys know I'm pretty transparent when it comes to making mistakes. And I have made a mistake. So my plumber friend that came around said, why am I using this 4mm garden line and trying to tee that off the water tap when I can go to Reese and buy 10 meters of the proper push fitting line, and also I got the proper push fitting tap, so that way I can actually have a tap up here and control the flow better. Now feeding this hose through is going to be a challenge. What I've done, I've taken that apart, I've cut it off, and then I've put a barb in the end of this one, and I've actually got a knife and I've cut the middle bit off so it's nice and smooth to try and, so my goal is to pull that line through attached to that line. So the missus, what the hell, how did you get out? Back in your cage, please. Back in your cage. So the rabbit is pretty good at opening this part. Anyway, so I'm going to get the missus to try help me pull this through. If I can't get it through, it's going to be a drama. But fingers crossed. Alright, so we've got the hose in. So this pipe comes up here. I just put a little bit of silicone in it and to block that end off. But realistically it doesn't matter because the water's coming up from here and gravity will make it go that way. It won't actually come up that pipe. So I'm not worried about that leaking. We've got our blue hose straight into there. No more join. I definitely know that was a silly mistake of me to use retic hose. I'm glad I had a plumber check it over, also for insurance purposes. So that's all pressure line. So up until this tap is pressure, and then I've got that tap on, but like it's on very light. It's pretty much on a drip as well, and then this sprinkler head is to fine tune the drip. Now that join there isn't a pressure join, but it doesn't really matter because if that ever did pop off, that tap is only turned on a little bit. So that's running now. I've got that dripping, it's about 20 mils a minute. I used a measuring cup on a timer. So that is somewhere in the ball, I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's somewhere between 30 and 40 litres a day water change. So we'll just see how that goes and test the nitrates in like 2 weeks, I guess. 1 week maybe. I cut the standpipe a little bit too short. I want the water level to be a bit higher than that. Oh, actually, it might be higher than that. I did pull the standpipe off. So when we pulled the blue hose through, I pulled the whole thing through, and that last, it got caught at the end there, and I ripped the black hose off the T. Oh, it's not a T, off the barb fitting. Alright, I'm going to wrap today's video up there, guys. Sorry if it was a bit choppy and changey. Obviously I made a mistake and I wanted to rectify that before posting this video, Because at the end of the day, I want this to be a tutorial, not an explanation of how to do something wrong. Especially when it comes to plumbing, like it's a licensed trade. I'm glad I got somebody to look over it and help me out. Obviously, if you're doing it, I'd suggest the same. Maybe put all your pipes in and then maybe get a plumber to look it over. But yeah, it's saved my ass here. And it made it so much easier to run one hose, like no joins. Alright, I'll see you tomorrow guys. Peace out.